Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in the house. You guys, welcome to our show. Welcome to Secrets of the Mind of a Man, where we talk about how men think when it comes to dating, relationships, and love. And we got a great show for you guys tonight. Come on in and let's get this topic going. Tonight, we're talking about this topic: is love enough? Is love enough? Is love enough to sustain a relationship? I went and got some special friends. I went and got some friends who are never short on opinion. They talk, they talk, and they have lots to say, and we're gonna hear it all tonight. So you guys come on in the house, and we're gonna bring them in first. Look, somebody you know that needs to hear this. Go ahead and hit that share button if you're watching on the YouTube chat, on the Facebook channel. On the YouTube, we need y'all to hit that thumbs up. We need everybody to hit the thumbs up button because it supports the show and lets people know we got something going on. So you guys, just so you know, I am KTJ, Kelvin Troy Johnson, dating and relationship coach. I help high-value, successful women, centered women to find successful men for dating, relationships, and love. And this is our show. So let me go ahead and bring our guest in tonight. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Let's unmute you guys and let's get y'all into this conversation. Hello, folks.
Hey,
good evening.
hello. Hey.
All right. So let's go around and introduce yourselves. We'll start with you, Alicia.
I am Alicia Bennett, the dating mechanic. I am a relationship and dating coach, and I help singles, premaritals, and couples really understand what they want out of a relationship and how to get it.
All right. All right. T. Marie.
Hello, guys. I am T. Marie. I am a dating coach as well. I am an accountability coach for women, teaching women how to date to get what they deserve and what they want and holding them accountable for what they don't. So I'm definitely here to add my 2 cents and let's talk about what love really, really is.
All right. And my man, Ray Tyler's in the building.
My name is Raymond Tyler. I am a journalist and a radio personality, and I often have dating coaches on my show to speak their clout. So I'm interested in hearing what you have to say as opposed to how dating and relationships really are.
Okay. Okay. And my guy, Roger, just joined the show. What's going on, Roger? How are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing today? How's things going? Sorry, I'm a little
Good.
late.
Hey, Roger, could you come a little closer to the camera? Is it possible?
Let me see.
I'll take you down till you ready.
How's that? Can you see me?
Yeah, I guess that's good enough. All right, so let's get this conversation rocking. And look, Roger, did you tell him what you do?
My name is Roger here. I build houses here in the Atlanta metro area. So I'm a licensed general contractor, licensed electrical contractor. So that's what I do.
And he talks about relationships.
Yeah.
Got a couple of channels talking about relationships. You can't.
I talk a lot of junk.
All right. So you guys, let's get into it. Let's get into the topic tonight. Tonight, the topic is love enough? Is love enough to sustain a relationship? So I like to have it popcorn style, but I'll call them out. I can quarterback it and throw it to you guys. So let's go around. Let's get your first thoughts on this topic. When you think of this topic, is love enough? What's your first thoughts on this? Alicia, you go first.
Absolutely not. But it depends on what type of relationship you are talking about, right? Depends. So you have to figure out what type of relationship you're talking about. There's some types of relationships it really just is a contract. The love has nothing to do with it, right? So you're talking about someone who is where it might be a military type situation, right? It might be really a political type situation. It really just is about the contract and the image. Is that what we doing? Or are we really, getting into a relationship? Either way, love is not enough, right? It's just not. You need other things within a relationship to sustain it. Because although we think love is unconditional, it comes with conditions. Definitely comes with conditions.
All right, good stuff. Go ahead, Ray.
Is love enough? As the lady before me said, Miss Bennett, it depends on what type of relationship that you're talking about. But the only time true love is enough is in bad Lifetime and Hallmark movies, because there are other emotions and characteristics that are important to sustaining a healthy relationship. If love was enough, you would see a lot more of successful high school marriages, but it's not enough because you need maturity, responsibility, income, managing outcome, a lot of different things. So no.
Okay. All right. T. Marie.
Hey. No, love's not enough. I mean, let's just be clear. Love is absolutely not enough. There's too many other factors, and compatibility is the first thing. You can say love is enough, but it's absolutely not. We got to talk about the compatibility. We got to talk about the reasons why we're getting married. We got to talk about if we're ready to get married. You love a lot of people. We have feelings for people, but that's not going to sustain the relationship. So you gotta understand that love is absolutely not enough, and we've got to quit using love as a band-aid to cover the things that relationships really need to see what's wrong. We can't let love be the band-aid to fixing everything in a relationship. We need to address the actual problems and issues.
Okay, Roger, what's your opening thoughts on this? Is love enough?
No, I listen to everybody talk, but let's face it. In today's society, there are many people who are not looking for love; they're looking for help.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people, they just play games with themselves. I know many people who have married individuals and was not even in love with them. I used to own a club in New York, and a lot of the ladies used to like talk to me. And I took a survey one time. There were 10 women who were actually divorced. And I asked each one of those women, when they got married, were they in love or did they love their husband? And 8 of the 10 said when they were not in love with their husband. 2 of them said they were. And I asked them, I said, well, why did you marry them? Most of them said he either had a good job, he was a great provider, he had money. And I'm like, why are these women marrying these men and they're not in love? Because I guess I'm old school. If you get married, you're supposed to be in love. But I have to admit, my mother was married for 30 years to my stepfather. And we had a conversation, I want to say about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And she admitted to me that when she married him, she was not in love with him. And I said, well, why did you marry him? She said, because he said he was going to take care of y'all. And I was like, you know what? I said, don't you think that was wrong? She was like, no, not at that time. So to hear that my own mother said that, and to see a lot of the women of today that does it now, it's like people not really caring about love. It's not about love.
Yeah. Now, you guys, let's do it popcorn style. What do you think when you hear Roger say that? Because to some extent, as I'm thinking about it, you guys, I'm thinking that I actually understand that perspective, right? I understand where she would get that from, and in some ways, that was just kind of the way it was. At sometime people thought like long term. How am I going to benefit from this long term? And having a husband for your children is beneficial. That's a really good benefit. like not having to raise all these kids by yourself, somebody could understand like why somebody would make that kind of decision.
I mean, being a single mother, right? Being a single mom and on the dating scene, that's part of it. You definitely want to make sure whoever you marry, whoever you partner with, can help you do life and help you through life. I mean, we got to understand there's a benefit on both ends to each person. But I don't think people are just dating for benefits anymore. I think genuinely people want to be in love. They want to love the person that they're with because it's easier to be with a person than you love. If not, it becomes work. It becomes, a task and something that you have to do just to get by. But a lot of times it just happens that there's another side when it comes to being a single mom, to being a person that has to take care of things. You have to consider other things. And sometimes, unfortunately, for some people, love has to take the back burner, because just like your mother, Roger, she needed to make sure that somebody came in and made sure that you guys were okay. And she was willing to sacrifice her feelings, per se, to make sure you guys were okay. So she would marry a person to make sure that her family was good. And that was the sacrifice she was willing to make.
But the point that I'm making is that my mother did that back in the days. Okay. And we see that same exact thing that's going on. The only difference is that in today's society, they always say for better, for worse, for rich, for poor, and all of that. At what point do you work to save your marriage? Today's individuals, they are quick to divorce. And the reason why they are quick to divorce in today's society is because they don't love that individual. They were not in love. If you are in love with someone, you're gonna fight, kick, snot, everything coming in. You're gonna fight to save. But if you are not in love, first sign of trouble, you run into the hills. And that's exactly what's going on in today's society. People are so quick to divorce. Everybody wants, well, we've seen these women. There are so many women that want to be married, but they don't want to do what it takes to stay married. They want to reap all the benefits of the marriage, of people paying the bills. That, oh, my grandfather used to pay this, do that. But then first sign of trouble, whoop, gotta go.
All right. So let's get Alicia in on this. What's your thoughts on that? On what you heard?
I think we have to really go back to that. People forget what marriage really is. And so because they confuse marriage and the actual relationship, it gets muddy, right? So what is marriage? Marriage is just a contract, right? Go with me on this. However, the relationship part of it, right, is different. You can marry someone and not love them. You can grow to love them, right? I think that by the time Hollywood and De Beers got a hold of the women and made them want this fantasy, right? Disney did a really good job.
Very good
job. When they created this fantasy world for women, that's when love came on the scene, because people were not marrying for love. They were marrying for security. They were marrying because they wanted to have a lineage. They wanted to create children that would, carry on the family name. And, they were having children so that it would further the family business, whatever the family business was. They were having kids so that kids could help them
manage the farm,
all of those things, right? So when you're talking about, oh, now Hollywood is making it seem like, oh no, you can chuck all of that and it's all about love, right? If you don't have these feelings. But what happens with feelings? Feelings come and go. So when you're talking about being in love, see, people say, oh, I need to go out on a physical date with that person because I need to see if there's chemistry. Well, what's chemistry? Chemistry is just a chemical feeling. What happens? That's the butterflies. That's the all of that. What happens when that's gone, right? So then you're talking about being in love with somebody versus loving them. Those are two different things. In love is the chemical part of that. But actually loving someone, that's a whole different story. So now you have to really dissect. Okay, so why am I getting married? What is this all about? So no, I would kind of agree with the gentleman here that people are getting into relationships and they're getting into marriages for what they can get out of it. They're not actually going into it saying, these are the things that I can add to this union so that we can actually build. They're trying to see what that person can do for them so that they can do less.
Yeah. So let me ask this question.
Wow. Okay.
Let me ask this question though. So what is it you think that stops love from being enough? Like, cause like you said, Disney told us that love conquers all. All the songs came out saying, all you need is love. All we need is love, right? Love is all we need. And it sounded really wonderful, but what is it that really stops love from love? Because somebody might say, if you can't sustain love, maybe you were never in love. You understand? So like what is it that stops love itself from being sustainable?
People are fickle. It really comes down to people really are just fickle, right? They leave a situation for anything. If they are uncomfortable for any reason, they out the door. I can be by myself, or I can do this with somebody else, or whatever the case may be. They don't want to stick it out because they don't want to have to look at themselves and change the things about themselves that would make the relationship better. They're not interested in change.
To answer your question, one of the things, and I don't want no one to, come down on me or whatever, but I've seen a lot and I've heard a lot, um, they always say the man is the lead. He's the lead in the house, man leads. But in today's society, a lot of these women will not allow a man to lead unless he has something to lead with. Okay. And I hate to say it, but there are a lot of people who put finances or what a person may have or don't have ahead of love. Now, here's the thing. You can have a person who's really for love. He wants to love, but he may not be there financially. And you will have that woman that will overlook that man who wants love, who will give you the world for someone who treats them like crap but has a whole lot. But see, here's the thing about that, and I tell a lot of women like this: stop worrying about what a person have or don't have. What you need to do is find someone who treats you good, because that man who may not have today, he can go out and hit the lottery and become a millionaire. But if he treated you well when he was broke, he's going to treat you even better now that he has a little something. But there are a lot of men who do have things who treats women like crap. So I think a lot of women miss it, because they're so focused on, well, what he's bringing to the table. Well, I'm bringing the chair. What you bringing? It's always about what that man, what he's bringing to the table. I'm one of these persons who look at it like this. Why can't we come together and meet at the crossroad? It's not about I'm having more, you having more, or less, or whatever. What can we do together to work as a team to better this relationship? And I don't think people are looking at that. They worry about too much what you have or don't have instead of worrying about what can we do as a team together. There's no team players these days.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. The whole the independent ideas really just like it went nuts. It went crazy. And and we understand, because look, for a long time, thinking of it from the feminine side, like, women were repressed, they were pushed down, they were like kept out, and so in the last, let's say 20, 30 years, the whole like independent woman, you went, your mama told your sister, go get your education. Your daddy said, go get an education so you don't have to depend on a man. right? Was that
But
good
did
advice?
that just come from nowhere though? Like, let me speak on that. Did that independent woman just come from nowhere? Did she just wake up all of a sudden and say,
no, this is where it came from.
I want to be independent.
This is where it came from.
They've always been independent.
The fact that no. The parents said, look, we don't want you to have to depend on somebody else to for your sustainability. So you need to educate yourself and be able to stand on your own 2 feet. That was actually good advice, right?
Great advice.
That was good advice. And that's advice that you would tell your child, right? But at the same time, what the lesson that we didn't get was that now that you're independent, we got to be interdependent. And when you get with a mate, you got to be interdependent, whereas we are working together on a common mission. So that's what we talk about, submission, right? 2 people getting under the mission, right? And working together, interrelation, and then it begins to work better. But we don't always see that. Go ahead, T. Marie.
Too much selfishness going on.
I don't. Well, okay. First, I don't think that women just decide to become independent, and because because your parents tell you to make sure you can take care of yourself, and that while you're by yourself, does not make the woman want to be super independent. As women, naturally, we want somebody to come and help take care of us. That's what we want. We don't want to do life by ourselves. What happens is we wind up having to do life by ourselves. And the more you have to do life by yourself, the more independent you become by nature. And so when somebody finally comes along, you have to make sure, one, okay, what are you coming in for, right? And are you coming to create a team as well? And if you're not, if I still have to do the same amount of work that I was doing before you came, then there is no need for you. And so we continue to have to do things alone, which make us continue to have to be independent. And so when men are like, you're too independent, okay, cool. For me to relinquish some power to you, some vulnerability to you, I have to know that you're coming in to make sure that we're good, that I'm good, that this is a safe place, that I can let my guard down and I can take my cape off. And too many times women are walking into situations where they cannot do that. And so now you got to put on the same cape you had on without the man with this man. And so now you feel like I can no longer depend or become interdependent with this person because he's not creating a space for me to do that. So women by nature do not necessarily want to be independent. Yes, we need to know how to take care of ourselves because we do. We don't have you first. We have us first. So we got to be able to take care of ourselves. But we also have to be in a space and meet a person that will allow us to lay those things down and allow you to lead so that we can do life together.
Could you sum that all up in one word? To me, it sounds like finances.
That's not finances.
You went all the way around the world.
That like money. If you got some money.
You know, women got their own money these days, so it ain't finances. Don't do that. Don't do that. There's a lot of women who have their own money.
But they don't want to.
Women who have money and take care of this. We need somebody to come in and make sure that the other parts are good. If I'm going out and making my own money, I should be able to come home to a person that's making sure that I am still taken care of. And that's not financially. If I got a flat on my tire or something's going on, there's things that I need you to come and do to make sure that I'm good and covered, that allows me to continue to be feminine. That's another thing. Men are talking about where's the feminine women. How are we going to be feminine if we always still got to take care of everything? It's such a double standard.
Hey, Ray, they want to hear your perspective on this. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I really don't have too much to say about the situation. You know, on divorce court, Maybelline used to constantly tell people, look, honey, you got to look before you leap. And that's what people, people don't do. To have this conversation after the marriage, even after the engagement, you slow on the uptake. Now, if you get involved with what man has not been involved with a woman who just had her eye on the money? What woman hasn't been involved with a man who just had his eye on the sex or on the money? And so, I don't know how old everybody is. I'm in my 50s. I've learned how to peep game since I was at least 20. So, certain relationships I don't even get into anymore. Or if I get into them, I know there's an expiration date. I know 2 weeks I'm going to deal with this. 3 months I'm going to deal with this. 6 months I'm going to deal with this, but it ain't going to be no long-term thing. So, a woman who's looking for help, she could be fine and she could be looking for some help, and I might give her some help for as long as it entertains me, because I got options. But if I'm looking for a long-term relationship, then the key word I'm looking for is build. What are we going to come together and build? We need, if a woman says, Ray, I like it long term, where do you see me long term? Well, let's talk about legacy. Legacy, which is okay. So yeah, if you're asking me a whole bunch of questions about why I'm asking you about legacy, you are not the one. It's cool. It's cool, but I mean, let's be real. We live in a world where Chris Rock said men faithful is their options, and women are like that too. You could be the do right guy, take care of home and everything like that. Let the gardener come with two tube socks in his pants, and there go if your woman ain't right, there go your relationship. And unfortunately, we live in a society where if the gardener got too much in his pants, your man might be checking for the gardener. So, it's you have to have these conversations a little bit earlier, not on the first date, but not before you put the ring on her finger either.
Absolutely.
All right.
I want to say something.
And then Roger, I want you to answer this question. My girl Stephanie asked this question of you, Roger.
Mm-hmm.
So is Roger saying sisters should just sign up for struggle?
Well, basically, I'll address this to Stephanie. It ain't what you do in life, it's how you do it. I always say that a lot of these women today don't know how to pick and choose men. They look at the wrong thing. They go at the wrong thing. Like I said, if they stop focusing so much on what this person have or don't have, and focus on first how someone treats you, I always said broke is a temporary situation. Poor is a state of mind. Okay, we all experience something in our life where we may be down on our luck or whatever. Typical like me. I lived in New York, had a club, I had a big construction company up there. I lost over $4 million. I moved to Atlanta to start over. There was a point when I moved to Atlanta, I didn't have $20 to my name. Okay. I had a few women I was trying to talk to, they wasn't trying to, hear me like that. But guess what? 8 years later, the table turned. Now I'm building houses. Now I'm back on top. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you like this, and this is from my own experience.
Hey, what was that? Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all
and I'm being honest.
Well,
but
you
I'm
have
tell you
something.
something.
You have something to offer now.
But listen,
Before
I
you
had
didn't have
no. Hold
anything.
up. Wait a minute. Hold up. I had something to offer then. It's just that they never took the time to talk, to find out and see what I went through. See, the problem is this. Everyone has a story in life. You need to find out what that person's story. You need to find out what has gone through or what made this person get into whatever situation. Everybody who might not have $20 ain't a bum. I had potentials. Right now, today, I am the only licensed commercial general contractor and electrical contractor in the state of Georgia. I got a license in Louisiana, Florida, and my license for 16 states. I had potentials. Even though I lost what I lost, I had potentials. All those women had to do was just take the time to get to know me and find out and see what I went through.
All right.
Okay,
So look,
that's where they miss out at.
Roger, we got to talk about that, T. Marie.
Mhm.
Is there anything wrong with hooking up with potential?
Yes.
Are you okay with
sorry.
potential? and then Alicia, I'll hear from you. Yeah, talk that talk.
You know what? By saying, you see, sometimes women like you miss out on your blessings. You quick to say yes, but don't find. You need to, before you make a judgment call with anybody, you need to find out what's going on, get to know that person. And once you've done that and you've gone through all and seen, okay, this person here ain't about nothing, or this person here, he knows a little, or what, you know what I'm saying? Then you can be like, you know what? This man has a little potential here. I might need to check this out, especially if you see this man, trying to struggle to take the test. I took my GC test 7 times before I passed it. I took my electrical exam here in Georgia 5 times before I passed it. I took the Florida exam, and I just passed this back in May. I took that 5 times before I passed it. So if you're a person who can see my struggle while I'm in these books, wow. But if you can't see that, then you have no potential. You have no. I don't need to be a woman like that.
Right.
You're not a ride or die.
I believe for women, it's not the potential, it's the effort. We all have potential. Let me see your effort. Let me see what you're doing. We all, and sometimes we get caught up in the dream and not paying attention to the action. So for me, I say talk to whoever you're deciding to date and find out what they're doing. See what they have set up. See what they have planned. See what their efforts are. If they're not making any effort, then absolutely not. But if you're making efforts, just like you're doing all your studies, Roger, then that's a whole other thing. But at the same time, I need to make sure too that your efforts are going to, come through. I gotta be cool on that. I gotta make sure that your efforts are gonna be, productive. So not that you're just sitting around or whatever. We can't do that, right? Can we agree on that your potential is one thing, but your effort is the other?
No, see, it's up to you as a woman to recognize certain things. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is this. No, listen to this. What I'm saying is this. Each of those women who passed me by was looking at one thing, what I didn't have at that particular time. Now, one of those women actually came back around after she got dumped by somebody else, and she said, you know what, you was always cool, this, that, and the other. I look and laugh now because you should have wanted me when I wanted you. Right now, I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
you were putting in effort. You weren't just talking about what you could do. You were actually putting in effort. You were doing something towards your goal.
But that's what I'm saying. So you should be able to recognize when a person is doing something, not based upon what I have or don't have now. See, that's what I'm saying. Women pick and choose men for the wrong reason. If you know how to construction, if I done told you I build houses in New York and I did this and that and the other, and now you see that I just moved here and I'm trying to get my license here because they won't accept my license up there, and you see I'm in here studying, you hear I'm failing tests, you see I'm steady studying, that shows like, man, this dude here is really determined.
That was your effort.
But they ain't looking at determination. They looking at what you have or don't have.
All right, let me get Ray in on this. Go ahead, Ray.
All due respect, Roger. Here's the problem, and I have seen this because I'm always going to keep it $150, as the young people say. I've seen women sign up for the struggle, and y'all know where I'm going with this. As soon as my man gets to where he's supposed to be, you know what? She looked all right when I was on my way up, but now that I'm here, thank you, baby.
Okay, but here's the thing.
I'm moving on.
If you don't ask a person for anything, if I don't ask you for, I've never asked a woman for nothing. I don't even ask her for sex. Okay? When I go out, I treat them good. I do all kind of things. I don't ask a person for nothing. So therefore, it's up to them to recognize certain things. You got men out here that ask women for all kind of things. Pay for this, buy that. And you got a lot of women that do it. But when you got a man that's not doing it, don't ask you for anything, he does whatever, them the ones that they'll pass over. They'll pass those men up for the most nothing dudes, and them don't be the ones that hurt them.
Yeah. So
Why?
let's talk a minute about let's get into talk about compatibility, because I think compatibility is the thing that sustains the love over long term.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I really feel like if a person is, if people are compatible, now part of the problem, y'all, is that people don't take the time to to see and if this person really is
Yes.
compatible, right? And all that takes time. It takes time, but sometimes people are doing like what Roger said. They're looking at what you got and saying, "Hey, okay, he brings a lot to the table, or she brings a lot to the table, whatever. Okay, this will work." But one of the things I talk all the time about is I ask, do your futures match? Are we going in the same direction, whether I was going in that direction or not? Were you going in that direction? 5 years from now, 10 years from now, are we online on course? And I'm telling you, I really believe that the future pulls you together if your future is in alignment. So
Can I address that real quick?
you got it. Jump it.
Well, my views are different. I hear a lot of people talk about someone being compatible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in compatible.
Okay.
I believe in compromise and state of mind. And let me break it down to you what I mean by that. Let's just say, for instance, Tamiri, you might name 3 things that you like to do, real quick.
Shop.
Don't do that.
Just real quick. 3
Sell
things.
her wine.
I love to speak. That's one thing I love to do.
Okay.
I love to empower. I do love to shop, but
Okay.
I also I like to vacation.
And she
I
like to hold on. She like to promote her wine. Where the wine at?
That's right. I'm
Promote her wine.
baby. Gotta get this.
Hold that up. Let me get a close up.
I know, right? I gotta spin it around, right? There we go.
Yes.
Okay, so we gonna use the wine, we gonna use that vacation, and we gonna use the shop. Is what I'm about to say. Okay. What I like to do, I like the ballroom dance. Okay. I like to do different. I like to read things of interest when it comes dealing with business. Okay. I love to have fun. I like to talk shit and swallow spit. That's what I like to do. I like to have fun. Now, here's the thing. I don't like to go out and be shopping a lot. Okay. I don't really get a chance to go and vacation a lot because of what I do. Okay. I can't drink wine because I'm actually allergic to wine. Okay. But here's the thing. Let's say, for instance, you and I meet, you just told me all of those things or whatever, and I just told you everything right here. Well, what I'm about to do is this. Since I don't shop, but that's something that you like to do, I'm going to try it because I know that's something that you like to do. Okay. Drinking wine, I know that I can't really do it. So I'm going to take me some, what they call it, some Sudafed, something like that. I'll take a few of that. And then once I take that, then I can drink that wine and I don't get the itching. Okay. And then shopping, I might go shopping with you, right? Like, be kind of fun. We laughing and talking, whatever. So basically what I'm trying to say is this. I don't have to like what you like, and you don't have to like what I like. As long as you and I can come together and have a compromise where we work it out, that's how a relationship's supposed to go. Because I feel if I gotta like everything you like and you gotta like everything I like, it's like, where are we going? Somewhere down the line, we're gonna get bored with each other. We gotta do different things.
All right, let's get some more folks in here. Alicia, what do you think about this compatibility? How important is compatibility when we're talking about this sustaining love?
Compatibility is a big thing, right? What type of compatibility are you talking about? Are we talking about character? Are we talking about, you know what I mean? So there's different ways to be compatible. Yes. Do we like the same type of activities? Do we like, those things matter because when you begin to be in a relationship and all of the flurries and the butterflies go away, what's connecting us? So I used to say to people, have something that you all have in common. Because even if it's, Jeopardy, right? And you're mad at one another, but you know that every night when Jeopardy comes on, y'all sitting in front of that TV. That's a way to connect. And that's a way to get through the muck of everything that's going on. So having something that connects you is very important in a relationship. But if I can just go back a little bit to potential.
I knew you wasn't done with that.
I wasn't done with that. Just for a second.
You got it.
I tell my daters, there's always a balance in everything, but I tell my daters, what are you looking for? Someone who is not in a position to be in a relationship, especially a marriage, should not be in one. They should get themselves together and they should get themselves to a place where they can actually date. If you're saying, oh no, we're going to go Dutch and all these other things, that's fine. But I just put it to you this way, because potential will get you in trouble. Not because the person will leave you. We're not talking about that. But most people want to get into a relationship because they want to be married at the end of the day. Marriage is not something to take lightly. You are combining and that's really what it is. You're combining finances.
Mm-hmm.
So a relationship is different from a marriage. That's what I want us all to understand. Marriage is about finances. It's legal. It's what it is. A relationship is different though. Relationship, we don't have to combine finances. You can have all the potential and I can, be in a relationship with you all I want. But when we start combining finances, that becomes a different story. So if you want somebody to build with, you want them to be in a certain place, right? In order to build with them. If you guys decide that the contract is, okay, we're going to get together and I'm going to bring you on. And these are the things that we're going to work towards. And this is how I'm going to help you. And this is how you're going to help me. That's figuring out what you're going to do and how you're going to build. But a lot of people don't do that. They just get into a relationship. They just jump into it. And then they think everything is supposed to come together. That's not how it works. And so when we do that, we mess ourselves up totally. And this is why the divorce rate is so high, because we go into these relationships without any knowledge of what needs to actually happen in a relationship to keep that relationship together. And that's why love is not enough. You need finances, you need communication, you need understanding, you need decisions on how you're going to govern the kids, how you're going to, it is so many things that go into a successful, healthy relationship that people just do not, they just throw it out the window because they're in love, right? And love just does not, it does not sustain long term. You need other things within a relationship to make it actually work. So if somebody doesn't want to be with you because of potential, they have that right to do that because they're looking for something else and they want to have somebody that's in a certain place. That doesn't mean that they need to be a millionaire, but they want them to be in a certain place so that they can continue to build with that person. I understand that everybody is not like that. Not all daters are like that or thinking on those terms. But when you're thinking about marrying somebody, that's a whole different story than, oh, we're in a relationship. We're together right now. We're kicking it. We're whatever. But when you're talking about actually coming together and building a lineage and doing all of those things, it's a whole different ballgame. Like I said, we don't see it like that. But until we start seeing it like that, these relationships are going to keep doing the same thing that they're doing.
You know what? I listen to ladies like yourself talk, And basically, you're saying the same exact thing, but I'm just getting straight to the point. You're saying you wouldn't deal with a person who has potential. Potential is basically finance. Okay, so basically, what you're saying that you'll choose a okay. Would you choose a person who doesn't have anything, who treats you well, over a person who has potential, that has that get up about themselves to go and make things happen? I mean, when you're really just listening to it still comes to finance. Y'all looking for someone to take care of you. Y'all looking for someone to do this. You say you're looking for someone to combine income, right? Well, that sounds fine and dandy when you say combine the income, but most women don't want to combine their income. They want the man to pay for the house, the car, and this and that, and they keep theirs. So where are you
Like I
combining?
said, it depends on the woman, and that's why a man has to be very strategic about the woman that he's choosing.
Look,
If
look.
he's choosing a woman that just wants him to, do those things, if he chooses her, that's what he chose. He
Men
has
choose
to
a
be.
woman for sex.
Yo, but listen to this.
Men choose
So,
women for
What?
yeah,
I mean, you know what? Let me tell you something.
hold on a second, Roger. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Right? But this is the reason why we have these shows, right? Because men have chosen women for sex, and then next thing they know, they jacked up. They are they married the wrong person. They are down the road with this person, and now they feel the weight of that bad decision. Yeah, she's sexy. Yeah, she's cute. Yeah, she got a nice body, right? But how is that helping in the compatibility going towards the future? So this is why we have to have these conversations so that men can now wake up, right, and stop marrying body parts. Stop holding on. Stop getting what you think you're getting when you're really just getting tricked. Because that long hair, she took it off this morning and put it back on. Okay,
I agree. I agree.
the eyelashes that look like snuffleupagus, right? She wouldn't have had them done. They're not real, right? And so men have been getting tricked with all of that. She after the wedding and after all that, you take off all that stuff, and you like, wait a
Take
minute,
me as I am.
wait a minute. You feel me? So you got to go. So here's my remedy to that though. I really believe that you got to go through all the seasons, just like we have seasons of life, right? In life's spring, summer, fall, and winter. Like I believe that in relationships, people have to go through seasons, right? You need to see how the person responds when things are not going well. How do they act when they're happy? How do they act when they're sad? How do they act when they're depressed? How do they act maybe when they lost their job? How do they act when the economy falls out, right? Because some of these people will go sleep in a closet for 2 months, right? And just because they lost their job or whatever it is, something happened in their life, and they may go in a rage. Some of these guys, they act nice for the first month or two. Some of these guys might slap you if you say the wrong thing, right? But if you haven't gone through the seasons to see what the temperament is, then you could lose it, and then you can find yourself in a bad spot. Yeah. Somebody comment on that. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you definitely have to go through things with people. You have to. I mean, that's smart. Getting in and making a relationship off the first 90 days of how you're dealing with somebody is the most ridiculous thing you could ever do. You've got to know, first of all, for those 90 days that was somebody's front, somebody brought in their representative. They've got to put on the best face that they can. And even jobs give you 90 days. There's something that's going to come out. You've got to understand that it takes some time to get to know a person. And 9 times out of 10, people do not bring out their true selves within that time. So you definitely have to do some seasons. And what you also have to, what Raymond spoke on earlier, you also have to ask the right questions. There's questions that need to be asked if you're talking about doing life with somebody, and you can't be afraid to ask questions. If you asking this person questions bothers that person, that person is not looking for the same thing that you're looking for. And so therefore you could go ahead and X that person out and move on to the next. But you got to ask the right questions. You got to put the people in right situations. And you also have to know who their friends are. It's so important to see who people's peers and counsels are, because they're going to get a lot of the ways that they act and do and all of that from the type of people they are around. So you'll really get to see what type of person you're dealing with when you see what type of person they deal with.
Well said. Well said. So let me grab some of the we got comments. We got a lot of comments going on here in the comment section.
Stephanie is hilarious.
Yeah, that's my girl. She's a nut. She said, so let me grab what Lavanya said here. She said dating potential has its pros and cons. Some women step away from the potential and it backfires. Well, does it really backfire? I mean, if it wasn't solid, then it wasn't solid.
Everything ain't for everybody.
Got that right.
And the sooner people, if you chose not to date somebody with potential, as Miss Bennett said, that's your right. Just, when the potential comes through and you feel like you missed out, don't cry about it. Just put on your big drawers and keep moving on. There's a bunch of people in the world, and people get hung up on one person. Why? I don't know, because a man much wiser than me said a woman or a person is just like a bus. You miss one, you wait there long enough, another one will be right along.
Well, what happened to the men that stepped back from relationships because they weren't ready, and then they came back and they say, you know what, I didn't have anything to offer then, but now I do. And so I would like to be, I would like to have a relationship with you. I would like to, you understand what I'm saying? Someone who understands that what a relationship really truly needs, and that they didn't have that at the time. But now that they do.
Alicia, that sounds good in theory, but that's really not how men operate in general, right? Check.
That's not how some men.
Check. No. Hold on. I said, wait. Look. I said in general, that is not how men operate. Here's how men operate, right? Men decide the situation first. Like they got to get their condition right first. Then they choose the woman who's right for them when they're ready. The woman that's there, she's the one that gets chosen when he's ready. Women choose the man first and don't worry about the situation, because they know if you get the right man, the situation gonna be right anyway, right? So therefore, the guys generally don't go back and say, you dissed me before. You told me to kick rocks before, but now I got my stuff together. Will you?
No, I'm not saying for the women. No, I'm not saying for the women that told them to kick rocks. I'm talking about there were men who would say, I'm not ready to date a woman. I'm not ready to be in the relationship that this woman wants to be in. So I'm going to step back. And when I get myself together, I'm going to be with this woman, right?
You know what?
This is the woman that I truly want to be with. So,
well, again, that sounds good in theory.
I've done that.
Can I say this here?
You've done that, Raymond?
I have done that. When I was in my 20s, I dated a woman who was older. She was a high school principal. I mean, I was in my early 20s. Maybe I just turned 20. So she's looking for a husband, and she thought she was going to marry me and then groom me into that wasn't happening. that was not. I cared for her, but no, that wasn't happening. Not at 20, I had some I had some living to do.
So wait,
I still like her as a person, but that wasn't gonna work.
Hold on, time out though.
And I stepped back.
But that's my
ruin her life.
look, Ray.
But I had an opportunity to really mess her up bad.
Ray. But look, Alicia. But that's my point, right? So what Ray's going to do? 20-year-old Ray is going to then, if he say, you know what, I'm not ready for what you ready for right now, right? But there is a woman who is ready for the 20-year-old Ray, and that's who he's going to go towards.
And that's what I was about to say, Ray. You hear the see, most women are ready for commitment. Guys are not always ready for commitment off the muscle. We like an airplane. You know, we get on that plane and we get on that thing and we going down the runway and then we gradually take off and we up in the sky or whatever. And then, you know, we got somebody, man, that's treating us good, doing us good, you know, and all of a sudden be like, man, she's kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? Everything's kind of cool. No, but that woman, she won't commit me right on that runway. It doesn't work like that with us.
Mm-hmm.
We gradually, see, a lot of women don't understand. You know how a lot of women get husbands? They boyfriends first. A lot of women try to put the cart before the horse. You got to be a boyfriend, girlfriend first. Go through the trials and tribulations, and then if that woman put up with a lot of his crazies or whatever, and he be like, he know that she's a good woman, he gonna say to himself, you know what, she's a good woman. She put up with this. She look out for me. Bye bye bye. I ain't letting go nowhere. I'm gonna lock her down. That's
hey, Roger. Wait. Hold on, TV. I'm gonna introduce you, Roger. I don't know if you know this young lady to your left, but she is the author of No More Boyfriends. So
she had a bad boyfriend then.
No. But I don't even want to speak on the boyfriend aspect because that's a whole other subject. You know, I'm gonna leave that alone. We don't even got no show for that. But I do want to talk about where you say you feel like women should subscribe to the suffering and the going throughs and whatever they need to prove themselves that they are worthy of being in a relationship.
No. I didn't say anything like that.
Because you're saying after I done took her through this and I took her through that and she done held on through this and that, then you know, hell, now you know what?
What I'm saying is this. We as men, we know when we have someone good in our life. We may go out and mess up, but we recognize when we have someone good. Okay? Any man that tell you that, they're lying. If you're not good, he ain't gonna stick around. So we recognize when that woman is good and there for us and got those qualities, whatever. It's just that men are not quick to just want to say, I want to marry like women do. It's a gradual thing. Like when Raymond was speaking, he might have been 20, but she might have been older. But if she was talking more about, hey, let's just go with the flow, we girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, he probably wouldn't have went nowhere. When she started talking about husband and getting married, he wasn't ready for that. He wanted to go out there and do whatever.
Let me clear one thing up. She really wasn't talking about husband and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, if you're 20 years old, you just had to deal with your high school principal 2 years ago. Now you go from dealing with a high school principal to dating one. She goes to different restaurants. She hangs out with different people. You know, the party we met at, she was there on a fluke. I was there every other weekend. You know what I mean? Like in my 20s, I could eat a pizza and a half. I ain't seen a pizza or touched a pizza in over 5 years. So, you know, we were just at different places. That doesn't mean that I was right and she was wrong. It just means we were at different places. And it just means even at 20, I had enough integrity not to mess up her life. Because she would, in trying to groom me, I could have gamed her big time and, you know, for money, sex or whatever. But I was like, you know, I don't want to, you know, mess nobody up like that.
And that's a character thing. And character doesn't matter how old you are. So when you start talking about age and the stupidity that we do at one age to another, character is still gonna guide you to do certain things and not certain things. That's a character thing. It doesn't matter your age. I
just want to say one thing about compatibility. And and maybe I'm a different type of person, but for me, I'm looking at compatibility from the standpoint of this. A lot of women that I come into contact with, they focus on their car. They focus on, their looks and all that is fine. But then when you sit down and talk to them, you know, what do you bring to the table as far as being interesting? What kind of books do you like to read? And if she says she doesn't like to read, that's not a deal breaker, but be interesting. I'm by no means a rocket scientist, and I struggled through high school algebra, but I dated a woman for several years who is so smart that she would have to lose some brain cells to be a rocket scientist. Like, she's a bigwig lab tech. We got along because she was an interesting person. She was a compelling person, and she concentrated on being interesting as well as just looking good. And I do run into a lot of women who look great but are boring. What do you like to do? I smoke cigars. Okay, and they're serious. And you know what? I shouldn't do that, because you know what? Somewhere out there is another cigar smoking, a guy who gets excited about a good cigar, and the two of them will be cool. But
that's
I need what I need.
Matching, that futures match. But look, let me tell you guys. Well, we got some comments on the Facebook side. My girl Shantuan Parks, Dr. Parks, I call her. She said, "Why should women have to sign up for struggle? Why?" Somebody respond to that.
Why do women always feel is signing up for something? Again, I always say they don't know how to pick and choose when it comes to men. It's not about you signing up for anything. It's about you recognizing what this person is about. Just like you said, you got to be able to sit down and ask certain questions and stuff. How else you going to get to know what this person has been through or whatever? Even if they did have or didn't have, you still want to know what a person has been through in life. So what do they mean about signing up for a struggle? Okay, I got one better for you. Say you meet someone who has the good job and got something going. Y'all hook up and get married, and all of a sudden he loses. Now what do you have? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna be around to that's your husband now, supposed to be a ride or die? Are you gonna be around to help this man or y'all get back on point? You know what I'm saying? They're not. It's a whole different thing. It's not about no one signing up for anything. Just get to know what's going on or who you're dealing with. You ain't got to sign up for anything. But if that person has potentials of becoming a millionaire, or he may not have it now, but you may be able to assist him some kind of way. If it ain't nothing but doing some paperwork or something, you know what I'm saying? Don't just be so selfish to close yourself out like that. And that's what a lot of these women do. They want the man to already have what they don't have, and then if he don't give them nothing, then all of a sudden he's not a good man.
I guess I'm arrogant, because a woman like that. I remember I used to listen to Wendy Williams when she was on the radio, and my favorite word that she used to say all the time, and I totally agree with, is bail. So if a woman can't get to know me for whatever reason, I'm too corny, I'm too black, I don't have enough money, I don't drive the right car, I'm not a car guy, you will never see me in a late model car. So if that turns you off, if you don't bail, I'm a bail. So right. I don't have a problem. If a woman don't see the potential in me, that's fine. Again, that bus, I'll sit there and wait at the bus stop. Another one coming along.
I could just get a transfer. Just get a transfer.
Right. I care less if a woman sees the potential in me. I always, now every once in a while, there is like a fine sister who you wish would, look at you, but it happens. So I just move on.
let's get this comment
myself.
from good word, Brother Ray. Let's get this comment from Lavanya. She said, we would appreciate men who can say that they're not ready to, but that's not common. Okay. On the flip side, women have to be able to accept when they say that they're not and not try to change them. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree.
Yeah, I'll agree, and I'll also agree that there are women who are looking for what they don't have, and that's my whole thing when I teach daters and I teach women and men, that you cannot expect something from someone that you don't have.
Exactly.
Okay. So when you're dating, you don't say, oh, you got to have a car, you got to have this, you got to have that, and then you don't have any of those things. That doesn't make any sense. Right? You have to be able to accept that. But then you don't have to accept if someone doesn't have a car, if they don't have this, if they don't have that. That's your right to do so. I want to talk to you more, Roger. Like I would like to actually have a conversation with you a little bit more.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, because it's just to see another perspective aside, not even to change your mind, just so that you can see another perspective of what you're saying.
A lot, like I said, I owned a nightclub for 12 years, and I have talked to so many different women. They like being around me because, I make them laugh, talk junk or whatever. But then, they felt comfortable with talking with me, and they opened up and just told me all kind of things. And I was like, wow, so I can speak based upon my experience with things. I can speak based upon other people have told me different things or whatever. And when I speak like this, there are some people think, oh man, you're thinking head up your butt or whatever. No, it's not that. I've experienced some things, I've seen some things, just like you have done the same. If we all come together, just like you said, you can have a conversation with me, and then you get to know why I say the things and do the things that I do, and that's how it's supposed to be in life. But you can't judge me based upon me saying, oh, he don't just because a woman didn't want him because he didn't have potentials or whatever. I mean, there's a reason why. And if you sat down and kind of like listen to my story, you'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
You probably say like, damn, you know what? I think she might have messed up. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta just sit and get to know a person. It's all about communicating.
Right. Hey, listen. So for you guys that are watching, we got the call-in number. If there's somebody here you want to call in. I would love to hear your opinion. I can't. We can't even catch all the comments that are coming through. So
we got it on fire.
Yeah, man, definitely. And Roger, they got a lot to say about you.
Bring it on. I can take it. Bring it on.
They got a lot to say about you, but
bring it on.
Yeah, look, if you guys want to drop us a line, go ahead and give a call right now. The number's there on the screen, and we're set up, and we'll be able to hear you live on the air here. So sustaining, y'all. Let's help somebody out. Give your best thoughts on sustaining. We know that love alone. I think we pretty much can say, like, overall, that love itself is not enough to sustain a loving relationship. So, what is?
Being solid yourself. Really being a solid person yourself is going to help you sustain a relationship. Too many times we go into relationships not full, not solid, not secure, not having what we need. And then we go in looking for somebody to add those things to us. And so what we got to understand, if somebody can add that, they can also take it away. So before you even start doing relationships, you need to be solid. When you become a solid person, it's easier for you to be able to sustain a relationship if that other person is solid as well. But that, and then having to want to, you got to want to. And it's got to be something to sustain. Let's be clear about that too. It's got to be something there that we can agree on, that we can sustain. But being a solid person first is the most beneficial thing you can have in having a successful relationship.
Facts.
Well said.
Okay, so I'm gonna just flip it, go somewhere else. I'm not gonna talk about no finances or nothing like that.
Good money, honey.
Well, I mean that there plays a big part in a lot of people's lives, but I think one of the biggest things, communication. There's not enough communication when it comes to relationships. I think that whether it's the man or the woman, most of the time there's going to be one or the other that may just clam up and not willing to open up. You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand, when I go into any relationship or anyone, whatever someone did to me in the past, I erase it and start fresh. The problem is you have so many people that are always just like saying, well, just because this person did something to you, well, I'm not going to never do that again. I'm not going to do this to no God, whatever, whatever. Give that person the opportunity to just press the reset button. And I think a lot of people don't do that. They're always bringing baggage from a previous relationship to something new, and they're already setting themselves up. Start new, start fresh, and just be real and just talk. Little laughter, you know what I'm saying? Do stuff like that. You know?
Sustained relationship.
Yeah. You know, just be real and just go with the flow in life. Once you go with the flow and don't put all this expectation like people do. Just let things fall into place. That's how I look at it, you know. And all the other stuff will come. All the other stuff will come.
I hear you, and I'm agreeing with Josh. Get some therapy.
Ooh.
No, he's saying before you get into another relationship, get some therapy.
Time is therapy.
Ray, what's your thoughts on that? Sustaining for the long term.
Now that is something I would probably have to defer to our guests on. Full disclosure, I'm more of an artist first and a business person second. And within the arts community, we always ask the question, how do you keep love going? Because we all, whenever we take the time and effort to put in a commitment, we want it to last. We want it to work. We don't go into it with the idea that it's only going to be, not seriously, for a year and a half. And then it's almost like that song by Stevie Wonder, All in Love is Fair. You look at each other and the dynamics have changed. It's hard to sustain because, you know, Kelvin, we never had no relationship, so no homo. I don't know if you can still say that, but what I'm saying is I knew you as Brian's little brother.
That's correct.
And then I started inviting you to my events. I was like,
correct.
Kelvin's a whole grown man. He's a whole different person than the person I knew, you know, running behind his big brother.
Correct.
You know, and I'm sure now that you're in Atlanta and you've really taken off, and congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sure you're a different person than you were when you were here trying to make it. So then, you know, I'm saying all that to say this. Imagine somebody who, again, I'm 53. So imagine me trying to love on somebody the same way I did at 25. Now it's just going to be different in so many ways. You know, the places we used to go. I've tried to date younger, and I have dated younger, but you know, I like to go hiking. I would like to go hiking with you too, but you know what? The way these knees are set up, I might have to hike from the camper. You know, so I'm just saying the sustainability part, while you're growing, is hard. If you have somebody who is committed to your growth as you're committed to your growth, I think that's probably part of the right answer. I can tell you this, for whoever I marry, ladies, you might want to close your ears. You're going to have to put up with the fact that when I'm attracted to you, I'm a freak. So whoever I marry, I'm going to be 75 with a bad hip and a walker, and she's going to be cooking my breakfast. I'm going to be like, oh no, you better come here, girl. Would you stop playing with me? You always playing with me. And I'm going to chase you down with that walker, and it's going to be on. And guess what? If we don't have that, earlier Miss Bennett talked about chemistry. If we can't maintain that on some level, yeah, we have ups and downs. But if we can't maintain that that animal attraction on some level, then I'm not signing up for the long haul.
Well said. Well said. Miss Alicia?
Yes.
Yes. Sustainability. And you know what? Before you give your answer, Ray said something, and it really did make a lot of good sense, Ray. Just because look, and you talked about me, like, and you took me through the process of the changes, right? And so it got me to thinking that that really is one of the keys to sustainability, is being able to move with the changes of your partner and really of yourself, because everybody's changing.
I'm not a relationship coach, but you have to be committed to their growth as well as yours. At least that's what works for me. Yeah. Because some people, listen, there are brothers who all their life they wanted to drive a bus or a taxi. And so once they get their bus driver job, that's what they wanted to do. They are set, they're comfortable, that's their life. And so they may not, on certain things, they may not even want to grow any more than that. And that's their right. But I'm just saying, if you know that you want somebody who's going to continue to go upward in a certain direction, whether it be, look, as far as I know, I'm done with college, but I'm not done with learning. So if that turns you on, then I'm your guy. If you think, well, you know what, he ain't in college no more, what do you still got to learn for? That's your right too, but I'm not the guy for you. So again, you have to be committed to the same level of growth. And a lot of times what happens is when that changes, people get uncomfortable and they don't want to they don't want to work through it or move on through it. So it happens.
Can I say something real quick?
Jump in, bro.
I want to address this to the ladies, and I want y'all to write this down, what I'm about to say.
I gotta take notes.
That's right. So if you a single lady and you out trying to date or whatever, I'm about to hit y'all with something. And even the ladies that's out in the audience, I have two questions that I ask a woman, and the way they answer, the way they respond to those questions, basically tell me how they may be. So the ladies, y'all can use this also with a guy. One of the questions that I ask is, what do you like most about you? Okay. That question there would make a person think, because they really don't expect a person to say something like that. The next question is, hold on. The next question is, what do you like most about you? What makes you the person that you are? Just those two questions right there. If you ask those two questions with any man or woman, you can find out a lot from them. Just them two questions there. Try it and see.
Okay.
You'd be surprised. You'd be
T. Marie,
surprised how you would catch a person off guard with those
T. Marie,
questions.
can you rock with that? Are you good?
No. I mean, those are definitely great questions. I mean, those are questions that you need to ask, of course, because a person should know who they are, what they like about them. I think it's important that a person knows what makes them who they are. And if they can't answer that, true enough, that's a red flag because they're
That's
not
right.
familiar enough with themselves to
That's
tell
right.
you who they are. They don't even know, which means there could be some changes coming, which means that who you're sitting in front of now may not actually be who they are. So that is actually a great question to ask to get more information.
It never fails.
Absolutely not. But yeah, this is definitely a great question to ask.
Okay.
Those two questions has never failed. I'm telling you, I've seen people fall by the wayside. I've told women to ask them questions to guys, and you'd be surprised how the guys respond. If you don't know yourself, how you expect that woman to know you?
Absolutely.
All right. Roger, LV had a statement for you, and you guys, y'all can chime in on this too. LV said, "All men are not like you, Roger. Some men talk a good game and don't have anything to back it up. I will agree that the conversation is an important factor." Ray said, "That's me."
But you know what? This all goes with taking your time to get to know somebody. We are too much in a rush to try to make a relationship as soon as we meet somebody. Take
Facts.
your time and enjoy the ride. Of course, it doesn't mean take your time does not mean waste your time, okay? And you gotta know the difference. You know when you're starting to waste your time because you can see the things that you're looking for aren't lining up with this person. They're not going to be who you're looking for based on the answers, the way they're acting. You've been out with them enough. You know that this is not who you're looking for. But taking your time is actually finding out about the person and enjoying that moment, finding out more about the person and enjoying and evaluating that moment. Don't be in such a rush to get into a relationship that you miss the opportunity to get to know exactly who the person is. You got to move with intention. Everything you do should be intentional. That's like my favorite word. In order to get what you need to get, whether it's weight loss, a recipe, right, whatever, you have to be intentional about doing that thing, which means there are steps and things that you need to do and things you need to pay attention to in order to get to that destination.
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So listen, y'all. This. Somebody once said that dating should be fun. It should be easy, and even being in a relationship, the thing that you've been sitting, hoping, wishing, praying that one day the good Lord's gonna bless me with somebody, right? So it should all just work. Does it always have to be so difficult? Because this is a lot right here. Like all the different angles of this. Is love? Can love be simple?
That's why I say I'm arrogant. That's why I say I'm arrogant, because if it isn't simple, I'm out.
One at a time. Go ahead, Ray, and then T. Marie.
I'm sorry, but I usually do defer to the ladies. But can you do that now in the 21st century? Can you still defer to the ladies?
We enjoy that. Thank you very much. We enjoy that still.
All right, real quick. If love isn't simple for me, if it's too much work, I got jobs. I got work coming out the ears. So no, if my relationship has to be a whole nother set of struggles that I got to get through, I'm out. I'm like Shark Tank. I'm out.
Okay,
T. Marie, go ahead.
No, but I agree. I don't think it should be that much work either. It's an effort. Yeah, you're gonna have to put some effort into it, but being hard, absolutely not.
Yeah, you sacrifice for people that you love. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you sacrifice for people that you care about. So if if taking a day off to be with your significant other to go to the flower show seems like maximum effort, then maybe maybe that's you should. If it were me, I would think about it, because when I care for somebody and they ask me, "Oh, could you hold this date for me?" And sure, I'll hold the date. But if I feel like holding that date is going to be, I might make some money. We're probably not long haulers.
I just do it like this.
I agree.
I just say it like this. If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
I hear verses coming up.
Being right means being without you. I would rather live a wrong do. That's what I do.
Oh, you and Roger need to have a verses, man.
Oh, man.
Who you talking about? Who you talking about?
I'm funny right there.
I heard you sing, bro. Come on, Kelvin. Don't do that.
No. He got it. He's got it. All right, look, LB got a statement here. He says, "I will agree that some women pull the trigger too quickly, but to thine self be true. You know what you're equipped to handle and what you're not. Yes, it may be a mistake, but staying could also be a mistake."
Can I say something on that?
You got it.
We both have, big followings on our Facebook page, close to 5,000. And you know how my Facebook page is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you something. I have seen so many of my Facebook friends single, engaged, married, and divorced.
Mm-hmm.
I got a few of them right now that's getting ready to get married. And they have not been in the relationship that long. I've seen this picture, this movie too often. And I try to tell people, like, listen, take your time and get to know these individuals. Why are you such in a rush? I don't care if you are 50 or 55. I would rather be a boyfriend, girlfriend for a year or two and be together for the rest of my life than to rush doing some 6-month thing, getting married real quick, and now we divorced 2 years later. That doesn't make any sense. I'm seeing it too often. No one is taking the time to go through the stages, because everything has a process. It's a process with everything. With relationship, take your time, but they feel like their clock is ticking, but then yet and still they get divorced so fast. I'm telling you, the quickest divorce that I've seen on my Facebook page was 3 months.
Wow.
3 months.
They didn't even let the paint dry.
3 months.
Let the ink dry yet. Well, but you know what? I can also turn that around, because I actually do know somebody who met and got married in 2 weeks, and they stayed together for 40 years. Now I know that's a outlier. That's a way outlier. That's not definitely something that's common, but it really depends on the people and the maturity level of the people, and where they are in relation to knowing who they are.
Don't get people
really
excited about the exception, though, because those are exceptions. We gotta be giving sound advice. You gotta speak on the reality, okay?
Yes.
We all know that there's an exception to
everything.
Rule.
Absolutely.
But don't get people excited on the exception, okay? Because that's not going to be for everybody. If it happens, great. But taking your time and being smart about it is not going to stop it from happening if it is the exception. So let people decide.
But T. Marie, can we agree people need to start being excited about doing them and not trying to do what's right based on what their friends say or what their family says, or even what relationship coaches say? I hear relationship, and no disrespect, relationship coaches come on my show all the time, and you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do this. I'm like, but what if that just ain't, what if the person just doesn't want to be in a serious long-term relationship for whatever reason. So, they can't be happy. No. A man ain't really happy if he ain't in a relationship, if he don't have a good woman by his side.
Yeah,
Right. That's what you're selling. I say that in my new book. A man ain't really happy if he doesn't have a woman by his side. So I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, and getting married in 2 weeks is not the relationship advice that I would give.
I wouldn't give it.
But look, if it worked for you, man, hey,
somebody wasn't in love. Tell you that.
Yeah.
But
I would say it depends on the couple. It depends on the couple, because there are some people who are just that authentic, and they understand what they want from a relationship. A lot of people that try to they start talking and they asking, oh, what's your favorite color, and all this other foolishness, right?
Foolishness.
But they're not asking the right questions.
Right. Yeah.
And when you're not asking the right questions, it's because you don't know where you're going.
Exactly.
But when you know where you're going and you're very intentional about dating and what you're looking for, that's why he said, oh, y'all got married fast. Oh, because we understood what we were looking for, and all that other glitters and all that other stuff that clouds your judgment. Yeah. We wasn't thinking about that. We had our eye on the prize. We had it on a goal. We knew what we wanted, and we agreed. And when we agreed on it, right, we promised ourselves that we would keep that agreement. Yeah. You said
anybody that's looking for that, it doesn't take 2 or 3 years. Can we be clear about that? If that's what they're actually looking for, if both those people are looking for that, it doesn't take 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. I think some people don't know the difference between love, lust, and infatuation.
That's why when a lot of people get out of marriages or long-term relationships and they get with the other person, and it's like, man, you just met that person and it's 6 months. Y'all just got married. Yes, because they got out of that relationship, they knew exactly what they didn't want.
Exactly. Yep.
Or it was cheap.
But that's a quick recovery. That's a quick recovery.
They knew exactly what they did.
Not a quick recovery.
So they were able to see what they wanted.
How can you get out of a relationship so quick and go to the next? I mean, that means there was no type of hurt, no type of this. No, come on now, there is nowhere in the world you can go from this scene to the next scene and say, "Oh, I'm happy."
So remember, people leave relationships emotionally and mentally before they leave it physically.
So that person
could have been gone.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you mean women do.
men do it as well, because sometimes
mostly women.
There are men that stick around just for the kids.
Man ain't sticking around. That man gone. That's why they call them side chicks. He already got one somewhere. Man don't stick around now like that.
So if he got the side chick, then he already knows what he wants. So then when he gets divorced, he with the side chick. He'll marry her because
sometimes
he knows exactly what he wants.
Sometimes it's just cheaper to keep her.
Yeah, man.
Every time it's cheaper to keep her.
And that's why I said they checked out a long time ago. However, they're sticking around. There's a reason they're sticking around, right? But they've already mentally checked out. They've already their physical body is just there, right? So how do you were asking earlier how you sustain a relationship, right?
Yes.
First and foremost, you have to know where you're going. You have to be going in the same direction. If you're not going in the same direction, the relationship is not going to sustain. Not only that, you have to let people be who they need to be. Mm-hmm. Everybody's in the relationship for a reason, right? They're there to grow. They're there to, to be a better person. Don't stop them from being who they need to be because you want to control them, because you have all these other agendas in mind. Work on you, grow you, and let that person grow themselves as well. We hang too much on controlling someone else and their behaviors and all of those things. We get caught up in that too much. But being able to, like I said, being able to go in the same direction, not controlling that person, but most importantly, choosing that relationship every day. Choose
That's
love.
Good
it.
stuff.
That's
Good
it.
Choose
stuff.
to
That's
be,
it. That's
choose to
it.
love that person, choose to be with
Every
that
day.
person every day, and to be present. Because if you're not going to be present in a relationship, why be in the relationship? Go find someone that you want to be present with.
Deep.
That's definitely it. Choosing it every day. I absolutely agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So look, I got a couple of questions that let's do a speed round. Let's get everybody's thoughts on this question. Give me like 10 seconds. I don't have a timer, but give me your 10 seconds on this question. Can you love someone and they not be good for your life?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
What type of love? In love or just love? Like, that's my kid's father. I love him, but I'm not in love with him type of thing.
I think they meant in love. Can you be in love with somebody, but they're not good for your life?
Yes.
Well,
Definitely.
yeah, a lot of people do that. They do that today.
Mhm. You
Okay.
can be in love with somebody for what they're doing for you or how they're making you feel, but
Yep.
they're not good for you.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, they might have like 2 or 3 different women and all kind of crazy stuff, huh? But you love them.
Okay. All right. Next question. Can you be with somebody that you love, but you're not on this, but you're on separate paths? Meaning, can you be in love with somebody, but you guys are on separate paths?
No,
Can you be?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
no.
All right.
Well, I'm
Who said
confused.
yes?
Yes.
What do you mean by why do you say yes?
You can love someone and you're not going in the same direction.
Mhm.
Love has nothing to do with.
I think the question is be with them.
Right. There you go.
Can you say it again? Can you be with someone?
Who and you love them, but you're on separate paths. Can y'all stay? Can you stay together with somebody, and have sustainable love with somebody if you're on separate paths?
Okay, no, that's a different question. No, you can't. You can't be. You have to be going in the same direction. That's what they call that people fall out of love and all that other kind of stuff, right? Because they're not on the same path. They're not going in the same direction. So one person is doing something else, another person doing something else. They're not together. They're not running the race together, right?
And that
Over
togetherness is what sustains the relationship. Doing that together is what helps sustain and maintain the relationship. The more things you do separately, the easier it is for you to fall away from each other. That's why it's important that you are on the same path, at least having the same direction in the thing when you talk about doing life together.
Now,
So
I don't want you, or I don't necessarily want you on my path every day of every minute of my life. I need you to do something with your girlfriends that you like to do that ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't want to have to look at you every second of every day. So
But that's not on the same path.
That's a whole.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
That's
saying.
different. That's
I'm
different.
just saying.
That's a little different there. I agree.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I gotta
It's-
need you to
it's-
sustain the relationship. I need you to go do something too.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's hard to be on the same. How if 2 individuals are not on the same path, I don't even see where there's any love, because over time you're gonna start pulling away from that person, and start looking. Your eye is gonna wander and start looking at someone else who you may feel that y'all might be on the same path or go on the same path. So
Mhm.
eventually you're going to start pulling away from that person. So no, you can't love that person and not be on the same path. You
Yeah.
can't do it.
So I think you could, but you probably shouldn't, right? Because
I'm getting confused about the question.
no,
I agree with that.
look, I think you could be with somebody, but you guys are on separate paths, but you probably shouldn't, right? It's ultimately not going to work out. But see, look, sometimes people stay in these relationships because of their devotion for the relationship, right? They're on separate paths, but they're devoted to the relationship. And so it does become a struggle. but it really just depends on the people. You know, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that that's what you should do, but it does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does happen. So, all right. Look, we got a couple more minutes here. What question, and you guys in the audience, what question have we not covered? My man Josh, he left a comment. He said, "I grew up with parents who were unhappy but stayed together for 40 plus years, setting a poor example for their children, for their kids."
That ain't happening this time of day. They going with the wind now.
It still happens.
40 years.
It still happens.
Nah. People are quick to divorce now.
People stay because the finances.
Ooh, no, you didn't.
People stay because of the kids. People stay because of the benefits. People stay
no,
for
you
all
didn't.
kinds of reasons.
People stay because they're comfortable and they rather have the devil they know.
People stay because they're comfortable. People stay.
They may be miserable, but at least they know what they're going to get.
But independent woman ain't staying. Okay, you gotta understand the difference.
Look,
a woman who got her stuff together and got a little paper, she ain't trying to stay in something that's toxic. She gone.
But she may be staying for her own reasons. That's outside of money.
But no, woman, independent woman who has her stuff together, her stuff, making her own money and doing her own thing, she's not staying in nothing toxic. First sign of trouble, she's gone.
Look, I knew a guy one time. This guy.
Okay, so if we're talking toxic, though, all due respect, brother, nobody should stay in a relationship or in any kind of ship period that's toxic. If you want a boat that's toxic, as soon as the next lifeboat comes along, you're gonna get off.
They do it every day. I do too.
But people
get in no toxic relationship for nobody.
People
only toxic relationships I endure.
Hold on, one at a time. Go ahead,
Miss Bennett. Yeah, I've learned so much from you tonight, so I'll let you go.
I was just saying, women do stay in relationships that are toxic. It doesn't matter for whatever reason, right? Because they don't have good self-worth or whatever the case may be. They do stay even if they have money. It has more to do with how they grew up and what they accept. There could be abuse going on, and they just feel like they need to stay in that relationship for whatever reason. So women stay in toxic relationships.
Yeah, abuse is tricky. I'm just saying I don't recommend that anybody stay in a toxic. If we're talking about a toxic relationship, that's a whole lot different than, my girl snores. But I don't recommend anybody stay in a toxic relationship. That's borderline crazy.
It's easier said than done, though.
Well, most of the time, people that are staying in toxic relationships are toxic. There's something that's within them that won't allow them to separate from that situation. It's not necessarily money or anything like that. It's a lot of times how they feel about themselves. It really has a lot to do with how they feel about themselves and the lack, not necessarily of money, but of who they or what they feel like they deserve. And so that's normally a lot of times when you see people that can leave that don't leave, has a lot to do with what they feel like they deserve.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, we coming to the end here. Miss Alicia Bennett, give us your final analysis of this topic today. You broke it down in a lot of ways, and I'm really glad that you're here. So share your final thoughts on this topic here today, and then tell everybody how they can find you.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you. Love is conditional. I'll put it that way. Love is conditional. We definitely want to strive for it to be unconditional, but we do have conditions on who we will love and when we love them. And we choose that, and we choose it every day. We open our heart to those people that we feel we want to love. And there's no people, there's not a limit to the people we can love, right? I definitely want to put that out there, because some people think that, oh, I can only love one person at a time, and those things. There's no limit on the people that you can love. This was a great topic tonight. Thank you for having me. It's one of my favorite topics. I have 3 books out. You can please connect with me on Instagram and Facebook. It's Alacia Bennett. Facebook is my land. I put topics up every day and questions up every day that are just crazy. But I have Dear Future Spouse is one of my books that I'm proud of. It's for singles. 7 key questions to ask on a first date. If you go on my Facebook page, you'll see all the books there. But people keep striving to be better. Strive to be better. That's all I'll say about that.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Brother Ray.
Thank you for having me. Proud of you. Because I've followed your journey since we were both radio personalities at 91.7 WLFR.
Yeah, man.
And
come on now.
Right. So I'm glad that you made your way to market this more. There's definitely more ready for what you have to offer. So there's that. And thank you for having me this evening. And I want to say thank you to my fellow panelists. With regards to the topic, is love enough? We want it to be enough, and I do think as an artist that love is important. But I think above all, whether we're talking love, responsibility, finances, perspective is key. And like Miss Bennett said, everything, love, like everything else in life, is conditional. You can say, I really love this person and I'll always be there with them. And you may mean that until they get a diagnosis. I mean, ladies, you're with a man and he's great. And then, he has an accident and now he's impotent or impotent. Well, I should be, I should be able to bail, because I'm not sexually fulfilled. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but I've seen that happen. So yeah, love is conditional, and like anything else, you have to be able to put love into perspective as far as how important it is to you to maintaining a relationship and just knowing yourself. And I think that's more the reason that love doesn't work or sustain, because people don't really know who they are or are not honest with themselves about who they are when they get into relationships. I have people come on my show all the time who say they want a relationship, and I can talk to them for 5 minutes, men and women, and just see you don't really want a relationship. You don't want a marriage, you want a wedding. I run into men and women all the time who want weddings, but they don't want marriages.
Well said, brother. Yes, sir. T. Marie.
Hey, as first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure being on panels with you. You always have great people to have great dialogue with, and I love that because it's intelligent dialogue. It's just not all opinion and all based on how you're feeling. It's actual dialogue that's coming from a place of hopefully giving somebody something to take back with them to use to continue to do grow their relationships. But when it comes down to love being enough, absolutely not. I can say that with all absolute, love is not enough. What I will say and what I have to say is love for yourself is necessary. If you don't love yourself, if you don't understand who you are, you will absolutely not have a successful relationship, because you're the common denominator in every failed relationship that you've had. So you got to go back and look at yourself and find out what some of the things that you need to know about yourself so that you can be successful and do whatever it takes, some of the changes or whatever it is you need to do in order to be a better you and attract better people and prepare yourself for these relationships that you want. So I always teach. I always teach. I never allow clients, when I'm matching them, I never allow clients to do anything until we've gotten themselves together first. They need to understand if they're even ready for what they're asking for. And a lot of times they're not. They're not conditioned. They're not ready. They haven't done the work. They haven't been honest with themselves. They haven't addressed past traumas. They just have been very blind to the fact that love can fix it all and not addressing who they are. So when they start dealing with themselves first, then they'll come out and they'll be able to attract and get the relationships that they want and recognize the ones that they don't.
Well said. Well said. Good stuff. Brother Roger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Share your final thoughts and I guess we'll go back around and have everybody tell us how everybody can find you. But go right ahead.
You know, I often wonder, how is it the black cow that eats the green grass that produces white milk? You know, people might laugh, but you know, when you think about it, you know, it's like,
Okay.
why y'all laughing?
This is going somewhere.
Huh?
I know this is going somewhere. I know it is.
Look at you. See, well, I tell you, you're going to have me up here talking like Ray Charles in a minute. But you know what, though? With me, you know, I talk crazy here and there at times, you know, but, you know, I believe in love. I'm one of those old-fashioned persons, you know. I like to take one day at a time and get to know a person. And I think that those are the things that's missing, you know, in life. As you know, I'm not one of those persons who agree with, you know, marrying um, and you not in love. I'm one of those persons, you know, if I get married, I want to be in love. I want that person to be in love with me. That's just how I look at it. But um, I've enjoyed the dialogue tonight. We had, you know, different point of views. Um, I'm not no book writer, but I think I might write a book, you know, called "To Be or Not to Be with Me." I don't know. You know, we'll think it's up. Um, but I've enjoyed myself, though. I've enjoyed myself and look forward maybe coming in, you know, on a later date or something and just help out, you know, wherever I can.
Yeah, man. Well said. So let's say, do we get Ray? Did you tell us how they can find you, how they can follow your work?
Me, I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not 16 years old, so I don't have the energy to tweet every 35 minutes to keep my Twitter followers engaged like they would like. But the best way to catch up with me is on Facebook and then Instagram. I also have a website, deepdopesoul.com. We mostly cover the culture, though. Not a lot of relationship stuff, but you know, maybe we'll have Kelvin on once a month to promote his book and his show and to discuss relationships because people definitely want to talk about relationships. So there you go.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Always ready, Jack. Always ready, my brother. T. Marie, how can they find you?
T Marie everywhere. T Marie #4 letter U, but T Marie everywhere on Instagram, on Facebook. I am on Twitter, but not on Twitter for real. I do have a book called No More Boyfriends, and I have a movement called No More Boyfriends, and it's really some good stuff. So you would really want to come and join the movement. Great dialogue, great conversation there as well. Also, I'm on Hot 923. It's digital radio station Monday through Friday from 10 to 2. I do middays with T Marie, and every day at 1:15 we do the chat. A lot of times that is the relationship conversation. And then I have a website too, companionshipgoals.com, where I will match you, help you find the mate that you're looking for.
All right. What's that shirt say?
Single, taking no more boyfriends.
Okay.
Yeah, single taking no more boyfriends. Can you see it? You know I got these bosoms
Uh,
up here.
there
I
we
had
go.
noticed.
I have. I did. I noticed the single part.
All right. All right. Well, look, I really appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. Alicia, we said we was going to do it, and we did it. I always look. I always wanted to make a point that I keep my word. I say we gonna get together, we gonna make it happen, and we did it. I was gonna get you on my show, and I'm glad to have you on the show. Brother Ray, I sure appreciate you, big brother, like a big brother. Our families go back many years, and
Like Don Cornelius Afro Sheen.
yeah, man. And look, I appreciate and just your leadership as an adult, a man who set a good example of what's possible for young men coming behind you. So I appreciate you, and thank you for coming on the show. And T. Marie, thank you so much for coming on as well. We did our last gig. We got to do another gig.
Absolutely.
Look, like the pandemic won't let us be great, but
Okay. Cool.
Can I say something?
man, can I finish my statement, Q?
Yeah, Q.
Yeah, we gotta do something again together.
Absolutely.
That last event, wine, women, and love songs. People
That
still
was
talk
great.
about that event.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, fun
And I
time.
would love to have you guys on my show at any time. It would be great. That I would love to absolutely have you call in and do the chat. It would be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm in. Roger, what were we gonna say, bro?
Oh, I ain't got much to say.
What?
Not much to say. Hey,
I'm just. If anybody want to follow me, I'm just Roger Hill on Facebook. That's it.
wait, and how about the Facebook group?
Well, um, well, yeah, I got a few different Facebook groups. You know, I'm heavily into the stock market. If anybody is in the stocks, I have a Facebook group called First Class Stocks and Investment. If you're interested in that, on my personal page, which now I'm in Facebook jail for 30 days, but I like to talk about all kind of stuff. You know,
He stay in Facebook
uh,
jail.
I do. I stay in Facebook jail more than anybody. I done probably 120 days this year.
In
But
Facebook jail. Hilarious. Hilarious. Hey everybody, thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate all of you giving your time, your efforts. And look, if there's somebody out there that needs a love coach, look, I'm giving away a free mini course, Finding the One at findingtheone.club. Go to findingtheone.club and let's get that popping as well. Wrong brand. Let's see. So look, if you want to just shoot me, if you got an idea for a show or you need a love coach session, hit me up on the email at lovecoachatlanta@gmail.com, and we'll respond to you as soon as we can. So thank you all so much. Till next time, peace and
Get this
love.
wine. Get this wine.
Get that wine. Get that wine. I'm gonna give
Federal
you.
Express it.
I'm gonna give you
Federal
one more
Express
close
it
up.
to me.
One more
Look,
close up.
Get this wine.
Tell them where they can get it.
Allthingsbeautiful.com, or if you want to just hit me in my DM, you get it. I'll ship it right to you. I think I'm actually down to my last 3 bottles, honestly. I was able to push 360 bottles on my own, no distribution. And so now we're working on getting it pushed out there. So I'm excited. So get this, some of the best Moscato you'll ever taste.
From where?
My brand. It is my brand.
What's the site? What's the site?
All Things Beautiful. So All Things
All Things
T-E-E, not T-I, but TEEFUL.com.
Okay. Got it.
Just hit me up. I got you.
Send me a glass over.
All right.
I'm right to you, and you're gonna swell up. Make sure you take your Benadryl,
Bring
okay?
one to me.
Hey, it's good too. Her wine is good. It really is. So, all right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for being here. Till next time, peace and love. See y'all next time.